Hey, welcome to the
now.
top of the morning show. Welcome to the top of the morning show. I see you, Vaughn, in the building. I see you. We gonna soon as I see Kyra jump in, I'm gonna start that back over. So that's good.
Okay.
So I was like, I hope the link worked. I'm like, I
You
hope
had
the
heard
link
about
worked.
the burned down buildings. Do you hear me?
You know what? I was just like, I love
She did
y'all.
not play.
I can't wait to see y'all in person and give y'all some love because I said, you know, she's right. I be trying to be on time, and so
you had her. She texted me. She like, something might be wrong. I'm like,
you know what? I love Kyra. We laughing at you, sis, in a good way. This gonna all start over. I'm about to start it over, but I love y'all.
Listen, I said, sis don't play. She like, this ain't like TT. TT don't disappear. I like,
yes.
and I'm just sitting over here like, well, shoot, just let me know. I don't know.
Oh my God, I love y'all. I can't. It's the love. It's the love for me. I just gotta say that. I was sitting over here. I was just sitting here like, dang, man, listen. But everything is good. It's just I was telling Kyra, and we're gonna jump into it because I got this man I'm interviewing. Girl, he is different. I was like, I hope he interview right. But yeah, he's just different. It's different when you interview dudes. Sometimes you be like, all right. So I didn't want to seem like I was sexist and only interviewing women who ran nonprofits. So whatever.
Oh, for sure.
So I discovered that when you don't want to be interrupted, that you can go and put on airplane mode, and that won't allow your notification. I got to learn how to turn notifications off because I kept sliding them up, but nobody was able to, I think, call or text. Or at least I didn't know. The first problem was I did it before my guest came on. So while I'm sitting there waiting on her, I was like, I wonder if everything is okay. So I ended it and I called her and she said, I was trying to call. I couldn't get in. And I was like, oh, because I got airplane mode. I said, girl, my bad. I'm sorry. So I said, I guess I got to put it on after you connect. So that's what happened with that. So yeah.
Well, we are good.
Yes, we are. Okay, so we're going to be quiet and I'm going to do my little thing and we're going to jump right into it. Okay, here we go. Mm-mm-mm. Welcome to the top of the morning show. It's your girl, TT from the D. I want to firstly thank you for joining us on this beautiful Tuesday morning to get your day started with these two beautiful queens that you're going to hear from very shortly. And also, I want to remind you that you can listen to this show not only after it ends this morning, but you can tap in and listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, Amazon Music, and of course, right here on Anchor.fm. I'm super, super excited about that. God is so amazing. He made that happen, honey. It wasn't me, y'all. It was you, the listeners, that made that possible. And just divine order, I have to say that. Now, these two queens, let me tell you, they are just a jack of all trades. They do so many amazing things. They recently had an amazing event. And if you go back, you can listen to the interview that I did with them when they were promoting an event that they just had a couple of weeks ago, which was amazing, simply amazing. They do great work, as people would say. They do great work, and they have a lot of talent between the two of them, individually, but collectively, they are a beast, a beautiful beast at that. And so it gives me great pleasure to be able to actually bring them to the station to actually talk to them about their nonprofit organization, because not only do they give us a lot musically and entertainment wise, they also do a lot with healing. And so their organization is just simply amazing. There's no way, I mean, there's so many parts to it. That's another thing that I love about them, that there's something for everybody. And it's all wrapped around us growing and healing as a person, as a people, to say the least. And what's so dope about them, they're sisters. And we're all sisters, right, ladies? I'm talking to my ladies right there.
Absolutely.
But they are blood sisters. Like, they came from the same people, right? And so it's one of those, you wish you could have been on their bloodline or grew up with them, because you can only imagine how fun it would have been, because it's a lot of fun being around them as adults. I can only imagine what it was like being around them as children. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring this dynamic duo, Vaughn and Carver, to the forefront. Welcome. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Look at that in unison. Look at that. Look at that. First of all, it's a pleasure. I love being around y'all in real life. So, like, it's dope to have you guys on the show at the same time today.
Oh, it's a pleasure. We love being around you too.
Always love coming on with you.
Yay!
Okay.
All the time. There's so much that you guys do. It's like, I know we on here for one thing, because this is the nonprofit association, like the nonprofit organization Takeover, and we're going to be talking about that all week long. But today it's like dope because, first of all, I love talking to you anyway. So I hope this don't turn into a sisters conversation, because people will be like, really? Like, are we here for an interview, or y'all going to just be connected? What are you doing? So we're going to be professional. Okay. That's me. I'm talking to myself. See, I had to talk it through. So I got to be professional for myself. Okay. So I would love for you guys to give the proper introduction for your nonprofit to get us started.
So I'm thinking Bombay is going to kick us off. She usually does.
Okay. Yep. So Healing from the Rhythms Within, that's our nonprofit organization that is rooted in mental health and healing through music. Not only music, but just the performing arts in general. And I know sometimes as singers and songwriters, we lose the other art forms as well, like the digital arts and drawing and poetry and the visual arts as far as photography. And, all of those things are healing platforms for people because it's their art, it's what they do. And so with Healing from the Rhythms Within, we use different events that we host throughout the city every year to raise funds to help other healing artists have access to mental health services. And so, a lot of the times when you are in the performance arts community, you don't always have that access if your art is your full-time job.
That's right.
And so, and even if you have a job, you may not have adequate health insurance for you to have access to physical health care or mental health care. So as my sister and I, we are licensed mental health therapists, and we are also healing artists from the city of Detroit. We want to just do our due diligence to pull everyone together and allow them the platform to be able to not only give back with their gifts, with their talents, by coming to our events and showing us or showing the people, what they are healing from, or to talk about their stories, tell their stories through their gifts or through their words, and pull others in as well to be able to get that the funds to be able to have those therapy sessions. So that's in a nutshell what Healing from the Rhythms is about. Sis, did I miss anything?
Sis, you got it right on the nail.
Okay.
And it makes me think about Medicaid. Medicaid says that it's going to cover us, basically at minimum.
Nice.
Medicare pays 52 sessions, and then we have to find out who's going to accept the insurance.
Right.
So sometimes that could be an issue too. So I like that we don't always have to worry about them having to have, our people having to have insurance. We're trying to put some things in the storehouse for you to just come. If you need to get these sessions, we're not worried about Blue Cross Blue Shield. We're not worried about Medicaid, or any of those things. Blue Care Network, Molina. We're not worried about that right now. We're just going to see how we can help you and, and get you through.
I feel like laying on the couch so I can talk, so do podcasters, do we qualify?
It's an art. It's an art.
Come on now.
It's definitely art. And so the biggest portion is the give back. You come in, you get what you need, and what are you going to give back to the people?
That's the fancy.
So that's in essence, that's really what we want to create, like a storehouse of people, or a network of people that when we have these different events, they can come and say, I'm ready to tell my story, or, I'm ready to portray, whatever it is that I'm healing from, whether it's a traumatic event, or whether it's, understanding your mental health diagnoses, whatever that may look like. So that's ultimately the platform and the love that we want to build, amongst that performance arts community.
I love this.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Dang, I feel like I'm listening to the audience. I feel like I'm not the interviewer. Like, I'm listening. It's for me. Like, the listeners, like, is you going to interview them, or you going to sit here and talk to them? But it's like, yes, I am, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I am. But man, that's fulfilling. And, you're definitely living in your purpose. I have to say that. Like, you guys are beautiful outside and inside, and just being around y'all, it's the energy. It's even in your kids. Let me tell y'all, it's even in your kids. And so, it's like a family thing. It's like in the DNA. Everybody don't have it, but it's a naturalness. Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, I just had to go there. I'm sorry. So, what is or has been one of your biggest challenges with your nonprofit?
Oh my goodness. I think the first challenge was ourselves.
Okay.
Pulling that idea, pulling the thoughts out of our heads onto paper and then into fruition. That took about a year right there, for us to just kind of figure out, what does this even look like? And to be perfectly honest, it's really a mind boggler. It's really mentally exhausting to try to figure out where you start first, and and then on top of that, finding the stable income, the active budgeting issues, the results and the planning, the strategic planning, trying to figure out how you run as a business, and attracting and retaining the right people. Just a little bit of everything mixed in one is the challenge. So this is why it's a passion. That passion has to run it, because when I'm weak, my sis she's over there, she's being strong.
Right.
She's weak, I'm strong. But those are the biggest challenges. Definitely the funding, just trying to figure out, where do we go first? How do we write this grant, or where can we market? That's another thing, TT, the marketing piece. How where do we put this information? And this is why most of it, we just kind of beat the pavement and word of mouth, and get things moving that way. But definitely, in a nutshell, I don't know if Vaughn has any, but
just not feeling defeated. It's so easy to feel and to get defeated. And so just knowing that there is a greater purpose for what we're doing, and being okay, and accepting that it might be a dormant time where you leave it alone for a little bit, but just don't give up on it.
Right.
And I think that's something that Kyra and I, because this goes all the way back to foot washings and with energy movement and talk therapy, and just pulling that in. Functioning, in our modalities of expression, spirituality, humility, and awareness. So just continuing to operate in that, even if it's at like its minimalist point. So if it's a post here and there, but just not giving up on the dream, but just knowing that every day is going to look different. And just not giving up, because it's so easy to throw in the towel.
Woo-wee. Amen. I know. You know how many times I quit podcasting? Didn't nobody know I quit though. Nobody knew it,
right?
Because I showed up every time. Like I was there. Yeah, I just got right there. I quit on my day off. Like I quit on my days off. Yes. So I have to ask, what is your mission?
So
Vaughn. I'm sorry, Vaun.
Oh, go ahead, Kyra. Okay. So I just mentioned Isha, which is expression, spirituality, humility, and awareness. And under that, just intertwining the art and mental health together, providing an unorthodox way for artists to heal from trauma. And that is on the right stage in front of a crowd to help seek a different set of blueprint for healing. And so when we talk about a blueprint for healing, it is going to look different for everybody. And so with our mission just being a blank slate, a blank canvas, and just allowing people to come in and paint it as necessary. Ooh. And whatever that may look like. And so if you've been to any of our events, you notice our healing boards. Mm-hmm. And each one of our healing boards, they tell a story. And so we've had several different artists come over during, these healing, what do we call them? Like these healing gatherings where we get all these boards and just allow people to just be.
Those boards, foam boards.
Yeah, and so we allow people to come and volunteer, and they come and they paint the boards, and there's no wrong way, to put your feelings or your expression on that board. And so we're just continuing to just allow people to create their own blueprint. There's no cookie cutter way to heal. And so that's what Healing from the Rhythms Within is about, because it is not about you having the rhythm, dancing or so to speak, but it's more of an internal.
Right. And then that internal will flip into, a dance.
Your outward expression.
A painting. Oh man. Just to be free, or even on the path to freedom. There's a dance, there's a song for that. There's the winds in the universe line up for that. So that's our mission, to help guide you to that space as well. We want to get you there, guide you there, help you figure out what your song is, so that you can get to a space of healing.
Yeah. And so from there, mentors are created, so you have people that has been a part of Healing from the Rhythms Within for quite some time. And, they are not who they were now. Who they are now is not who they were when they came on board. Mm-hmm. And, so now they're able to run the carpet, help on the stage, or, so it's very fruitful when people can kind of come in, and then they can be a light or, a beacon for somebody else who's just coming along.
Yes.
So that sparks a question. What would one, if somebody wanted to join your organization and say, hey, how can I be a part of what you're doing? How would they do that?
So typically it's, you're going to be an artist of any genre.
Okay.
The next step is to determine what's happening with you locating a therapist, because there's also resources where we'll help you connect to your therapist, or we'll help you figure out your insurance.
Okay.
We'll help you figure those things out too. Mm-hmm. And then with that, we'll have you, as you go through, we'll check in, just to kind of see, how you're doing, or like Vaughn was saying, provide that mentor. The other side of that is you don't have insurance. You've seen your therapist. You've exhausted those face-to-face contact with your therapist. Mm-hmm. You've exhausted those things, and you still need therapy. Here we are for that. You can fall back on us, and we're able to provide the therapy to you, and then have you participate with us on our 2 big events that we use to fundraise.
Yep. So if they're interested on coming on board for like those type of things, they can email us at fromtherhythmswithin@gmail and connect with us that way. Or they can inbox us, because we're on Facebook as well for Healing from the Rhythms Within, and Instagram under Healing from the Rhythms Within. So if they want to just make that initial connection and say, hey, I like what you guys are doing. I love your mission, and how do I be a part? That would be like the first place to start for that, because we may need to connect them with somebody to help them along the way.
For sure.
Gotcha. And Kyra, you like, it's almost like you know what I'm about to say, because I was about to ask you, what type of fundraisers do you do?
Okay, so we do, well, let's kind of rewind back to when COVID decided to rear its head.
Right.
That's exactly when Vaughn and I had finally said, we got everything laid out. We got the nonprofit ready to launch. And we did one fundraising event And then from there, we went into COVID. So that kind of really pivoted us to a different space. COVID had its own pivots, within itself, the familial space.
Yeah.
And it was the nonprofits and any other business that was out there at the time went into a whirlwind,
Yeah.
So that really spent us into a space of, okay, what do we do now? We're brand new. We're trying to, this is what we do, face to face, coming together, creating the space, the energies, so that really put a barrier in our movement. Vaughn, you want to pick it up from there?
Yeah, so with that, we host, as Kyra said before, we host 2 big events per year. They look a little different now because we're all transitioning back into the normalcies of life. But we do those big events to fundraise for the mental health services that we mentioned a few minutes ago. And so we love to do an array of things on those specific events. We like to highlight trauma, but we also like to highlight healing as well. And so we do our own original music. We pay homage usually to Detroit artists who were here before us or who were staple Detroiters. We pay homage to them. We do short stories and we do spoken word, we do dancing, and so we do visual arts, and so we do that to pull people in to be able to raise those funds to put in that pool for artists who may be seeking mental health services.
Yes.
And I can say this outside of this, it's always amazing. I've had the pleasure of serving as y'all stage manager.
Oh my goodness.
And it's always, when I tell you, it is fulfilling. It's not a job, although some people would say it's a job. It's me working in my purpose, but for a higher purpose.
Yeah.
And I get my own healing when I'm there. I cry and I do my own thing. I still work, of course, but I get in my feelings and I can relate. I see people healing. I see people being set free. I witness a lot being a stage manager.
Yeah.
Right. And so I can testify to that, ladies and gentlemen, that if you've not attended an event, you are sorely missing out on an amazing experience. And you come in one way and you leave another. There's a lot of love. I've never seen any bad energy amongst the people and the crowds.
Yep.
Oh my God. So anyway, I don't want to go there. I'm sorry, y'all, because I'm getting in my feelings again. Okay, so I know the answer for myself, but for the person that's listening, what makes your nonprofit stand out from all the other nonprofits that may have similar thoughts and values?
Ooh.
I wish I could chime in for like Jeffrey, but go ahead.
Okay, you go. You want me to go? You go, Kyra.
Oh, okay. I can kind of start the painting.
Okay.
Or the skeleton.
Yes. And then
if you imagine your dopest brother from the urban area with that hat leaned to the side, but having some issues and needing to connect and find their space or his space in a group of people that are with like minds. So we're talking dope. It's the dopeness of it. It's the eccentric vibe. It's the food that's connected to mental health. That we leave no stones unturned. We're double dutching right now, TT. So I'm gonna jump in.
Yeah, and it's the music. It's the camaraderie. It's the acting like I've known you all my life and I probably just met you. It's the brotherhood, it's the sisterhood, it's the sense of family, but we have no bloodline connectedness. And there's not one person that I don't think that you can ask that has been a part of what we do that doesn't feel that same sentiment. When we come together and when we have rehearsals. Because this doesn't just translate to the stage or to the event space. This is something that we build from texting, from talking to you on the phone, from tapping in with you to make sure you're okay. We care about the person, not the art.
And then that
the
takes me
person
to
comes first.
Yes, and it's funny how we kind of bounce off of each other, because what she's saying takes me right into the mental health piece, the piece that why we started in the first place. You know, you can be bipolar, you can have schizophrenia, you can have depression, you can have anxiety, you can have all of those things and still be seen as a person. And as you know, in our community, that used to be so taboo, you know, and that's like me singing to the choir at this point. But, you know, people can come in there and they'll say, hey, you know what? I'm bipolar and here's what I need. You don't have to hide. You know, there's people aren't looking at you weird if you're walking by and you're needing some help, or they're not looking at you strange for saying, you know, I've been having anxiety, and down to suicide. You know, if someone says, hey, I've had suicide, 2 failed suicide attempts, where people are comfortable with saying this and comfortable with reaching out and finding out how they can get resources. That's the dopeness of it. You know, I can say that I'm bipolar and nobody looks at me or flinches or look at me any type of way. They still see me as a therapist that's going to help them navigate their issues. That's the dopeness and the difference, you know, where it's not I'm the therapist up here and you're the client down there. You know, not saying that my fellow therapists do these things, but this is just the kind of vibe. We're friends, we're therapists. You get yours, I get mine, and we have a good time.
Yeah. Absolutely. I have to say that I wish that, you know, as you said, and we're, you know, people that are familiar with my show, very transparent, and there is healing in truth when you walk in it. And so when we can look at where we come from, knowing our story, because we all have one, and what you said holds truth for me. I can openly say I had 2 failed suicide attempts, but thank God that they were not successful.
Yes.
Right. And that is not something I'm ashamed of. It's battling and struggling for whatever your trauma is, because we all have trauma in some shape or form. It's what do you do with it? There was not an organization like yours around. I've always been in the arts. Now, I would have qualified 100% for y'all, because back in the day, I was you come on now. So I was a choreographer, I was a hip hop dancer. I even thought I could sing. So I was in a singing group years ago. I did all these things. So, and that, I think that was my healing. I think I danced my way or sang my way or rapped my way through my trauma because it was my outlet. It was a way of escaping from my reality that I didn't appreciate, right?
Yep.
And getting lost in it, because I would rehearse for hours. I would rehearse when rehearsal was over, because it just gave me something that was for me and nobody could take it from me.
Wow. Absolutely.
Yeah. So there's a lot in that. There's a lot of truth in that.
Yes.
And I just say, yeah, I can appreciate that. For those that are listening, you know, and you happen to be an artist and you've gone through some things or however that looks for you, and you've been looking for this type of organization, I am so glad and I'm honored to be able to bring this to you. Because if there was something like this for me back in the day, then I probably would be further along in my life than I am now. But I thank God for where I am at this moment.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. So I had to say that because I believe that there's someone listening that said, you know, I've been looking for this. You know, I know several different people that could benefit. And here's the other thing. Let me say this before you jump back in. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, because there are some young artists as well. You can't get better if you don't get the help you need. And don't let nobody tell you there's anything wrong with getting some help, some guidance to get better. You don't put a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. You go and get that thing sutured up, make sure it don't catch an infection so you can heal properly. So with our traumas, whatever they may be, you need to be able to get what you need to heal properly. If not, you're just going to do something that I saw, which was amazing with one of your events that you did a couple of years ago, where sweeping it under the rug. When you did that, it hit home so deep. When I was in rehearsals watching, I related to that because I'm like, being molested as a child, you swept that under the rug, and I did my own sweeping. It wasn't that nobody told me. I just didn't tell anybody. So I swept my own stuff under the rug until it became that heel in the carpet and you trip over it.
Right. There you go.
All right. I'm sorry. I had to say, hey, it's real in the field,
right
y'all.
there.
It's real.
Real.
Yeah, it's real. So do you have a way that people can help partner with you? If they say, you know what, how can I partner with you? Like I'm a licensed therapist or whatever. What type of partnerships would you guys entertain accepting?
So we've actually had a couple last year. People who wanted to come on board and host healing events for their specific group. And so they can start by just shooting us an email again at fromtherhythmswithin@gmail.com, and we can discuss, like we usually can build what you're looking for. We do. So we have packages, that are available. But if you are looking for specific things that you may need, whether you may just need music, or you may want the mental health talking portion and the music, or, so there are several different ways that they may want to navigate those events. But absolutely, we partnered with one of the Leona Group schools last year, and they actually hosted a healing event for their educators. Which was absolutely beautiful.
Oh man!
And
oh my God, yes.
We set the stage for that and for them, and they brought their educators in, actually along with some parents as well. And it just was a beautiful night that we were able to put on for them. So we love partnerships, because how else do we get the resources for those who are in need? And how else do we spread the message? The healing, I call it mental health music. How else do we spread, the message through that music, unless we are pulling other people in so they can go tell, what's going on in our city as well. So absolutely start with that email and reaching out that way.
I love it. I love that. And it brings me to my next and last question officially. Tell us one thing that your nonprofit needs.
Well, we have some of the things we talked about as far as the, the obvious, and I'm sure all nonprofits, well, I don't want to say all, because I know some nonprofits that are pretty stable, but always looking for funding. So I know funding, that would be the obvious. But the next is, what we need is our people. We need people to know about us. There are people out there that need to find us. We want the quirky ones. We want, we want you to be different, we want you to be yourself, so we're looking for the people that are looking for us. As Von and I talk about turning your light on, our light is on to you if you need us. And we just want to find you so that you can serve with us and help us heal you so that you can heal someone else. And I think that's our biggest thing, just marketing to the audience that are looking for us, because we know they're out there.
Absolutely.
I have to ask this question because I have a broad listening audience, and I'm happy and humbly saying this, that I have listening people, of course, in the United States, but in different countries, and just amazing. Yeah, it's amazing what God has been doing. So because you are a Michigan nonprofit organization, are you only able to help artists from Michigan, or can you do nationwide, worldwide? How does that look?
Well, we are a Michigan nonprofit, so we function in the U.S. However, we're not turning nobody away, because one thing my sister is going to do is she's going to figure it out.
This is true. This is true.
If nothing else exists in this world,
this is
Kyra
true.
D is going to figure it out and make it happen.
That's right.
And I'm so glad you can attest to that, TT, because you can confirm that I tell no lies.
Yes. You tell me there's no lies there.
And
no lies.
We would still absolutely reach out, still connect, because we have subsidiaries under Healing from the Rhythms Within that we could potentially connect you with. So, with that being said, absolutely, come one, come all, because healing has no bounds. so we want to be able to reach everybody.
And I had to say that because if you think about it, I mean, there, you can go to, a licensed therapist, because you ladies are licensed therapists as well. So you tap it into a whole lot of areas. But for the national artists, the international artists that don't have this, because there's not an international organization like yours. There's not. They might say, well, listen, where y'all been? Like, I for one, I want to, because I was listening. Of course, I'm listening. I'm trying to figure out a way that I can make sure that people know about it. That, because I'm involved with arts and work with people who are artists around the world, and I definitely want them, if nothing else, even if they can't partake because they may not be in our city, they could reach out, and then you could maybe tap in. That's why I'm like, partners, they don't just have to be partners here. You could be a partner if you are out, and you're out, let's just say hypothetically, putting it out here, California, New York, and you deal with artists, and you got artists that struggle with traumas and they need some healing. And because we, look at, I'm gonna say it, look at somebody like Amy Winehouse. Okay. Yeah. She could have benefited from an organization like yours. Absolutely.
Very, very talented, very beautiful.
Absolutely.
In her gift. And so we talk all the time about, artists being at the top of the suicide numbers. Because we're just misunderstood beings.
Yep.
And
oh my God.
It's to be in a group of people that understands you, or where you can come and bring your troubles and your flaws. And if you spaz out, we're not going to judge you. We're just going to reel you back in.
Absolutely.
We're going to reel you back in. We're going to ask you, are you okay? We're not going to go off, or we're not going to disband you, or, put you out. We're going to try to figure it out with you or for you, if you need that lifeline. So absolutely.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Ladies, you're my sisters from another mother, but definitely I'm so grateful to be able to have the ability to have a connection with you outside of, I love y'all back. And what you have to offer is simply amazing. I hope that you are going to partake in getting that grant money, because that's how this all manifested, ladies and gentlemen. The Michigan Nonprofit Association, and they partnered up with the New Citizens Press. And I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to extend it to be a person that's helping to get the word out there that they're right here in Michigan. There's $35 million of money for Michigan nonprofit organizations to get their hands on. And I'm like, let me tap into all of the people I know and remind y'all to go over to www.minonprofitrelief.org. Submit your information, get your hands on some of that monies that has been already allocated for nonprofit organizations, so that you could continue to sow seeds into your own nonprofit that's helping people in our communities.
Yeah. So TT, tell us who's eligible?
Let me see. So let me get this down, because I don't want them to beat me down in the spirit. They're gonna be like, that's not, oh yeah, no. So I want to get it. And I'm going to read it directly from what they said, because I want to be very accurate about this, because it's very important. So it says, and this is from the press. This is the press release. It says, this is a Michigan Nonprofit Association profit campaign. The application to formally apply for a grant from the $35 million is open. And then I gave the website. I'll repeat it. www.michigan, well, it's MI, we abbreviate, minonprofitrelief.org. And nonprofits do not have to be members of Michigan Nonprofit Association to apply or receive grant monies. The formal application is there, and it opened up just back on March 22nd, but it's going to close May 5th, which is Friday, just a couple of days, it's going to close. Yeah. So it says that each eligible application is reviewed by nonprofit and community leaders from the region of the applications from which they come. And they'll be scored based on upcoming demonstrated need, the narrative, and supporting documentation. So that grant money is going to be distributing starting July of 2023. And it's open pretty much to every nonprofit that's here. There is really none that stands out to say, yeah, you don't qualify, because it's so much money. You just have to be legitimate. Now, for those of you, now we all got some cousins. Listen. Don't be coming out here like y'all was going out there for that PPE loan, because some of y'all going to jail. Okay, and I don't want you to say you getting arrested because you heard it on my show. I laid it out there. Don't be trying to have me subpoenaed for your crime. I'm not going. I'm TT from the D. I don't want to be on crime in the D. So okay, yeah. Okay, I don't want to. And so now, but do the right thing. If you have a nonprofit, that's why we have this week for this takeover. It's kind of like we're going to be doing a few more of these, and I'm taking the time. And ladies, I'm going to have you guys come back again. And yeah, because just even having other organizations on, and you can, cross-reference and even network with one another, strategically planning that. Yeah, just strategically planning that out, because there's something for everybody. And there's so many amazing nonprofits, but we don't know about you. When I had the opportunity extended to me, it was like, yeah, and it wasn't just for my people. Like, y'all my people. So, of course, I'm going to extend the invitation to my people, but I've also put it out there. Like, hey, if you have a legitimate nonprofit, reach out to me. Let me know what you're doing. And I'm going to go in, and that's one thing about being a podcaster. We do go through, and I got to vet you. Let me be clear. Just because you told me you're a nonprofit don't mean I'm just going to bring you on. Right. I got to vet you. And that's me being transparent. Okay, come on now. I'm TP from the D. I'm going to keep it real with you. But I'm going to vet you. I'm going to vet your stuff. I'm going to look at what you've been doing. If you just posted and you started it 2 days ago, I'm not going to be able to bring you on, because I don't even know where you came from. I ain't seen your work. I don't really know if you for real. Like, I'm not getting caught up in your schemes and shenanigans. I can vouch for y'all. And everybody that's coming on this platform, I'm going to vouch for them, that they're legitimate. If I got to, like, I've had the CEO and president of Michigan Nonprofit, I've interviewed her twice. And I'm going to interview her again about this, what they're doing and how they can partner up. And if that's one of the ones that I definitely want to have you guys come on, Von and Kyra, where I bring the president of the Michigan Nonprofit Association on, where we could interchange and ask questions. So yeah, I think it's going to be amazing. I know. I love it. But I just want to thank you, ladies, for taking time out of your morning. I know that you always busy and your day gets fast, but you made time to let people know about your nonprofit. Also, you gave us the opportunity to understand what we didn't even know that we needed to understand about ourselves from within. As people that's in the industry, people look at people like you guys, like, you got it together. You don't have no problems,
Amen.
We don't look like what we've been through.
For sure. We do not.
Nope, we don't. So I just thank you for putting it out there for people. I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to continuously working and even myself finding a way to partner with you, because I want to find a way in my realm of giving back. Like, I know podcasters, and there's a lot of them. Like, can we get together and do something with y'all? I don't know. What can we do? Like, can we do a 24-hour marathon, podcasters running it on? Can we? That's something I was sitting here thinking, like, how can we do that? How can we as podcasters come to, or radio personalities, how can we do something that we can help raise money, but also bring light to it? So my wheels were turning while I was interviewing. I was present. Let me be clear, I was present. Yeah. But I really want to do something too. So thank you. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you so much. All you gotta do is
say the word, TT. Say the word. Say the word.
I appreciate that. Yeah. So tell the listeners one more time before we shut down our morning, how can they continuously keep up with you ladies?
Well, please go on Artistry. Oh, sorry, sis.
You got it. Go
I love it.
We've been really popular with our music, so a lot of our information have shifted to Artistry of a Black Flower.
Mhm.
You can ask questions, be a part of what we do. You can go there, artistryofaBlackFlower.com. Is that right, Vaughn?
Yes.
Also from the Rhythms Within at gmail.com. Facebook, Healing from the Rhythms Within. Instagram, Healing from the Rhythms Within.
Awesome. Well, Queens, thank you so much for your time this morning. I appreciate y'all. I love you guys. And I will definitely be tapping in to see you soon.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Thank you, TT.
Thank you, TT.
Have a great morning.
You're welcome. You have a great morning too.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.